Today's date is June 6th, 2019. We are in Paxton, Illinois. We're seated here today with
Donna
and Zane.
So Donna and Zane, if you guys don't mind, please tell us your story.
In October of 15, my husband was unexpectedly diagnosed with lung cancer. By the time it was discovered, it was stage 4 and had metastasized to the brain and many places. 5 months later, he passed away. That 5 months was kind of a whirlwind because we were so busy fighting that the reality of what happened wasn't sinking in. And of course, we had a 12 and a 16-year-old still at home where we were trying to maintain some semblance of normalcy when normalcy had disappeared. 5 months to the day, he passed away. That's when the reality set in. I think just now, 3 years later, I'm starting to live again. I had been with him for 30 years, over 30 years, 32 years. My identity was so intertwined with him because I didn't know who I was without him. The kids had never known life without both parents. We were extremely close-knit. But 3 years later, I'm starting to find myself again. And I like who I'm finding. So it's been an adjustment. There's still that person missing. Always will be that person missing.
Something you never get used to, you know?
No. No. Our whole dynamics, our life dynamics changed. We had to go from being a really tight-knit family that did everything together to the main component missing. We had to rethink our relationship.
We got in some fights,
Yeah.
you know.
But yeah, I mean, when you're in treatment, you fight so hard that the aftermath is just like, when it's finally done, whether you lose or win the battle, it hits you then. Because I was working full time at the time, going back and forth to Champaign, doing treatments, trying to pretend things were normal and fine for you guys, but at the same time not lying to you about it. So yeah, that's our story. He never, sitting there looking at him right now, his fear was never for himself. He said he was the lucky one out of all of us because it would end for him, but for us we would have to continue on. And he was right. He never showed fear, never concerned for himself, always for me and the kids, always. And he was pissed because he didn't want to miss their lives. We had 30 years together. That's pretty good. But my youngest only got 12 years with a father. He only got 16 years with a father. So yeah, that's what he was meant, that he was going to miss this. He was going to miss this.
Not much else to say, you know. There's so much to say. You can never say an adequate amount, you know. Just it's hard to put into words, you know. Just is what it is, you know. That's just a real big thing. Just gotta accept it. Just do you, you know.
He'd be really proud of you. So, he always was, but he would be extremely proud of what you're doing right now. Because biking was his hobby. He biked. So, not like you guys. he wasn't near that fit. But, so yeah, for you to wind up doing this, it's kind of a really cool way to honor him.
It's fitting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Your dad could have done this way easier than you could have. He would have. But yeah, it's just in a matter of 20 minutes, our life went from everything going as planned and smooth and content to explosion. It was like a nuclear bomb was dropped, and we're still living in the fallout. And to see what he went through, he really fought really, really hard. He probably wouldn't have fought as hard because it was so hard on his body, mentally, physically. But he owed it to you guys. He said he probably wouldn't have done treatments if it wasn't for the kids.
I think he did radiation last day.
He did radiation the last day he was alive, yeah.
Never quit.
He never quit. Never quit. And he wanted to. And he was an extremely physical man. He did home repairs and construction for a living, and he was 54. But he was stronger than most 30-year-olds that walking around today. I mean, physically, when he died, right before he got diagnosed, he was at the peak of him physically. And to see just what, and his treatments got delayed. So he actually had like 3.5 months of treatments. To see what that 3.5 months did to his body was just shocking. And but he did gain weight. He was one of the few cancer fighters that gained weight thanks to me.
We
also gained weight. Yeah. Our whole family got fat. While he was dying, our whole family got fat. So. But I would sneak cream cheese and mashed potatoes because I did research. I have a dietitian that's a friend, and I'm like, what can I do? Because I know wasting is a really big problem. And she said calories, calories, calories. If you have to have him eat 20 Milky Ways a day, calories. And she worked at a cancer center as a dietitian. So we all got lots of calories. Yeah, so when he started doing this, it was like the biking, the cancer.
Fit together.
Yeah.
You know?
I can see why you didn't want